మిత్రులారా, అందరికీ స్వాగతం. మనం కార్యక్రమాన్ని ప్రారంభిద్దాము. ఈ కార్యక్రమం ఆల్ ఇండియా లాయర్స్ యూనియన్, పీపుల్స్ ఫ్రంట్ ఫర్ రైట్ టు ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్, సుందరయ్య విజ్ఞాన కేంద్రం, ఎస్ఆర్ శంకరన్ ఐఏఎస్ అకాడమీ, తెలంగాణ ఆల్ పెన్షనర్స్ అండ్ రిటైర్డ్ పర్సన్స్ అసోసియేషన్ వీటి తరఫున ఈ కార్యక్రమాన్ని నిర్వహిస్తున్నాము. ఈ కార్యక్రమంలో ప్రధాన ఒకే ఒక ఉపన్యాసకుడు ఉన్నారు. వారు జస్టిస్ హెచ్ఎన్ నాగమోహన్ దాస్ గారు. వారిని వేదిక మీదకి రావాల్సిందిగా కోరుతున్నాను. కార్యక్రమానికి సీనియర్ అడ్వకేట్ హైకోర్టు విద్యాసాగర్ గారు, వారు కూడా వేదిక మీదకి రావాల్సిందిగా కోరుతున్నాను. వారు కార్యక్రమానికి అధ్యక్షత వహిస్తారు. నాగమోహన్ దాస్ గారు కర్ణాటక హైకోర్టు నుంచి జడ్జిగా రిటైర్ అయ్యారు. ఆయన 1977 నుంచి 2004 వరకు అక్కడ బెంగళూరులో కర్ణాటక హైకోర్టులో ప్రాక్టీస్ చేశారు లాయర్గా. ఆ తర్వాత ఆయన 2004 నుండి 2014 వరకు 9 ఏళ్ళ 5 నెలలు హైకోర్టు ఆఫ్ కర్ణాటకలో జడ్జిగా ఉన్నారు. ఆ తర్వాత ఆయన ఢిల్లీలో ప్రాక్టీస్ చేశారు. ఇప్పుడు బెంగళూరులోనే ఉంటున్నారు. ఆయన ఐలు కార్యదర్శిగా కూడా పనిచేశారు. అనేక పుస్తకాలని ఆయన రాశారు. అందులో ప్రముఖమైనటువంటి పుస్తకాలు ఎన్నో ఉన్నాయి. కానీ అందులో ముఖ్యమైనటువంటిది రీడింగ్ ఆఫ్ ది కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఇది చాలా ప్రధానమైనటువంటి పుస్తకము. జ్యుడిషియల్ అకాడమీకి రిసోర్స్ పర్సన్గా కూడా ఉన్నారు. అదేవిధంగా అనేక పుస్తకాలు ఆయన రాశారు. ఈరోజు మనం చర్చించబోతున్నటువంటి అంశము కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ అండ్ కన్స్ట్రక్షన్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియన్ నేషనలిజం. అది తెలుగులో చెప్తే భారత జాతీయత రాజ్యాంగం అనేటువంటి అంశం మీద ఈరోజు వారు మాట్లాడతారు. తర్వాత ప్రశ్నోత్తరాలు ఉంటాయి. వారికి తెలుగు బాగా వచ్చు కనుక ఇబ్బంది లేకుండా మీరు తెలుగులో కూడా ప్రశ్నలు వేయవచ్చు. ఇప్పుడు మన విద్యాసాగర్ గారిని కార్యక్రమం కొనసాగించాల్సిందిగా కోరుతున్నాను.
Good morning, everybody. Honorable Justice Nagamohan Das, Judge retired, Karnataka High Court. We are fortunate to have Justice Nagamohan Das among us. Now we are celebrating 75 years of independence, and the topic chosen by the organizers, Constitution and Construction of Indian Nationalism, is an appropriate topic, and the person whom we have chosen is one of the jurists and an author of many books and a versatile speaker, and he knows multi languages. He knows Telugu, Kannada, Hindi, English and many other. Dear friends, the Constitution of India came to our country at the instance of Justice M N Roy, who introduced for the first time in December 1934 that before independence we should have a constitution for ourselves, and he propagated that idea that we should have our own constitution drafted. Later on this was adopted by the Indian National Congress. They also projected that we should have a constitution for ourselves to run the government at the instance of the various political parties at that point of time. British have decided to constitute a constituent assembly to draft the constitution. That is how the constitution assembly was mooted in the year 1944. Later on, members comprising of around 389 were selected from various provinces and the states, including the princely states. They have done a mammoth exercise for framing the constitution. Ultimately, the constitution, before the constitution was framed, they have also adopted the national flag on 22nd July 1947. That is how we have unfurled the national flag on 15th August 1947, which was adopted by the Constituent Assembly. Thereafter, the Constituent Assembly adopted the Constitution and it came into the force from 26 January 1950. The basic concept of the Constitution is to have a governance which comprises of legislating laws, administering laws, and judiciary should ensure that it is properly administered and legislation is done in accordance with the four corners of the Constitution. I don't want to indulge into the aspects of Constitution because I am a very student before Honorable Justice Nagamohan Das. Dear friends, you also are aware that the Constitution has undergone changes, many amendments, more than 100, as of now 105 have been brought to the Constitution of India. The impact of the amendments and what is the goal or what is the aim of the Constitution and how it is going to change our lives and attitudes in the future years. And I request everybody to actively participate, and he is ready to answer the queries which we may pose, but be precise in putting questions. Don't put the questions as an answer. Before I request Honorable Justice Nagamohan Das to deliver his lecture, we have decided to release books which are published, and with his hands it would be more appropriate that the book release function is also organized. Therefore, I request Honorable Nagamohan Das Garu to release the book.
I request you to release my book.
Both.
He will explain.
What captions the book you are releasing?
Yes, yes. వీరే గారు ఉన్నారు, వీరే గారు
అన్ని డీటెయిల్స్
డీటెయిల్స్ చెప్తారు. ఎందుకంటే తినబోతూ రుచులేదు కానీ.
మిత్రులారా, ఈ నాగమోహన్ దాస్ గారి ప్రజెన్స్ని సద్వినియోగం చేసుకోవటానికి ఈ రెండు పుస్తకాల ఆవిష్కరణ కార్యక్రమాన్ని చేపట్టాలని అనుకున్నాం. నిన్న మొన్న 2 రోజుల్లోనే ఆ కార్యక్రమాన్ని ప్లాన్ చేసుకోవడం జరిగింది. మొదటి పుస్తకం మానవతపై దాడి, గుజరాత్ నరమేధంపై సిటిజన్స్ కన్సర్న్ ట్రిబ్యునల్ నివేదిక, సంక్షిప్త నివేదిక. ఈ పుస్తకాన్ని 2002-2003 మధ్యకాలంలో జరిగినటువంటి గుజరాత్ నరమేధం పైన విచారణ జరిపించిన తర్వాత 2003లో ప్రజాశక్తి అట్లాగే హైదరాబాద్ బుక్ ట్రస్ట్ మొదటి సంపుటాన్ని తీసుకొచ్చింది. గత నెల రోజుల కాలంలో మీరు పరిశీలించే ఉంటారు. తీస్తా సెతలవాడ్ గారు ఆవిడతో పాటు పనిచేసినటువంటి అనేక మంది సామాజిక కార్యకర్తలు, అధికారులు, బ్యూరోక్రాట్స్, ఐపీఎస్ ఆఫీసర్స్ వీళ్ళందరూ కూడా గుజరాత్ ప్రభుత్వాన్ని అభాసుపాలు చేయడం కోసం ఉద్దేశపూర్వకంగా ఈ తప్పుడు కేసులన్నీ పురమాయించారు అని చెప్పి సుప్రీంకోర్టు వాళ్ళందరినీ శిక్షించాలని చెప్పి ఆదేశించింది. ఆ మేరకి ఆర్బి శ్రీకుమార్ గారు ఐపీఎస్ రిటైర్డ్ అడిషనల్ డైరెక్టర్ జనరల్ ఆఫ్ పోలీస్, అట్లాగే టీసా సత్లవాడ్ వీళ్ళు జైల్లో ఉన్నారు. ఆల్రెడీ అప్పటికే జైల్లో ఉన్నటువంటి మరొక ఐపీఎస్ ఆఫీసర్ని ఇప్పుడు విచారణలోకి తీసుకొచ్చారు, సంజయ్ భట్. వీళ్ళ ముగ్గురు మీద మళ్ళా స్పెషల్ ఇన్వెస్టిగేషన్ టీమ్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ టిట్ ఫర్ టాట్ లాగా ఉంది. ఈ విషయాలన్నీ కూడా మళ్ళా సమాజం దృష్టికి తీసుకురావడం కోసం తెలుగు రాష్ట్రాల్లో ఉన్నటువంటి ప్రోగ్రెసివ్, లెఫ్ట్, డెమోక్రటిక్, సెక్యులర్ పబ్లికేషన్స్ అన్నీ కలిసి ఈ కార్యక్రమాన్ని చేపట్టే. దిస్ ఈజ్ ది హిస్టారికల్ ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ బుక్. ఐ రిక్వెస్ట్ పబ్లిషర్స్ తరఫున గీతారామస్వామి గారు, మోహన్ రెడ్డి గారు, అట్లాగే విజయరావు గారు నవ తెలంగాణ, మోహన్ రెడ్డి గారు నవచేతన. గీతారామస్వామి గారికి పరిచయం అక్కర్లేదు, హైదరాబాద్ బుక్ ట్రస్ట్ వ్యవస్థాపక నిర్వాహకులు. వీళ్ళ ముగ్గురు సమక్షంలో జస్టిస్ నాగమోహన్ దాస్ గారు విడుదల చేస్తారు. దీంతో పాటు జస్టిస్ నాగమోహన్ దాస్ గారు రాసినటువంటి రిజర్వేషన్స్ అండ్ మిత్ అండ్ రియాలిటీ ఆ పుస్తకాన్ని కూడా ఈ సందర్భంగా రిలీజ్ చేయడానికి విద్యాసాగర్ గారు ప్లీజ్.
మోహన్ రెడ్డి గారు, గీతారాం రండి మోహన్ రెడ్డి చిరకాల మిత్రులు. Yeah.
చిన్న సమాచారం కోసం అనౌన్స్మెంట్ కూడా. రిజర్వేషన్స్ మిత్ అండ్ రియాలిటీ అట్లాగే రీడింగ్ ఆఫ్ కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ ఈ రెండు జస్టిస్ నాగమోహన్ దాస్ గారు రాసినటువంటి పుస్తకాలు. ఈ రెండింటిని తెలుగులో అనువాదం చేసి పబ్లిష్ చేయడానికి అనుమతించారు. నాగమోహన్ దాస్ గారికి ధన్యవాదాలు.
Now I request Justice Nagamohan Das Garu to address, and Telugu translation will be done at the end by Veeraya Garu.
మీ అందరికీ నమస్కారం. నా మాతృభాష తెలుగు అయినా నేను కర్ణాటకలో పుట్టి పెరిగి కన్నడం చేరిపోయింది మా తెలుగులో. కాబట్టి నేను తెలుగులో మాట్లాడితే మీరు అంతా ఇష్టపడరేమో, ఎలాంటి కన్నడం మిక్స్ అయిపోయింది. Be that as it may, it is a great day for me. I addressed several meetings in this memorial hall. Again today I am in this memorial hall. When I came to the trust secretary's chamber, I handed over one of my books to him, and also to my long time advocate friend Vidyasagar Garu, the senior advocate of Hyderabad High Court. Meanwhile, Parthasarthi garu entered the chamber. Before handing over a book to him, I put a condition. If you are going to get it translate to Telugu, then only I will give it to you. There was a publisher. Meanwhile, Vidyasagar garu offered that I will bear the cost of translation and also give an amount of rupees 10,000. You go ahead with it. And readily the publisher has agreed. I gave my oral consent. I agreed to put my daskat on a written contract also. This is how, in few minutes, the entire transaction finalized to translate my book, Reading the Constitution. In Kannada it is called as Samvidhana Odu into Telugu. I am the greatest person who enjoyed this day. I am immensely happy. I thank Vidyasagar garu and all other friends who showed interest in translating my book. In addition to that, I had the privilege of releasing Manavatapai Dadi. In many number of functions in Karnataka, whenever book releases came, I used to say, world has seen many number of great revolutions. Every revolution had brought about a certain amount of change. But it is said, books have brought about a change which no revolution had brought in the world. That is the reason why till today Ramayana, Mahabharata, Quran, Bible are influencing the people. Das Kapital written by the Karl Marx, the sayings of Periyar, the teachings of Buddha, teachings of Basva, teachings of Narayan Guru are still being influenced, and people are moving in this direction. Therefore, I always request that we have to read books. We have to purchase books. We have to cultivate the culture of donating the books in marriages, housewarming, birthdays, etc. If possible, to write books. I always repented. I practiced as a lawyer in Bangalore city for 25 years. I worked as a judge of Karnataka High Court for 10 long years. Then I practiced in Supreme Court as designated senior counsel for 4 years. In my long journey in judiciary, I saw parents and children, brothers and sisters, sisters and sisters, brothers and brothers, fighting for the properties left behind by their parents. Their jewelry, their house sites, their plots, their residential houses, their shares, their bank balances. Unfortunately, I have not come across a single case where people fighting for the books left behind their parents. Even now, I pray, let that day come to Indian judiciary where people fight for the books left by their parents. Having said so, friends, the topic of the day is very, very important, very timely. I find it difficult from where to begin. But in my own way, I try to share my few thoughts with you. Some people came to India at one point of time in search of food. Some people came from outside in search of agriculture lands and perennial rivers. Some people came to India for trading purpose, to sell their goods and to buy the goods we produce. Some people came to India as tourists. Some people came to India for learning in great international universities like Nalanda University, Takshashila University, Panchashila University, etc. Then came few people as aggressors and as invaders. These people came at different point of time. They came for different purpose. They came from different races. Paleo-Mediterranean, Caucasoid, Negroid, Mongoloid. These are the races from which people came to India. They came from different nationalities. Huns came, Turks came, Arabs came, Khiljis came, Tughlaqs came, Sultans came, Mughals came, French, Dutch, British, Portuguese. From these countries they came. They also came from different language families. They belong to different religions. People who are in India, they belong to Hindu religion. A section of Hinduism later became Buddhists, Jains, Sikhs. To India, Islam also came. Christianity came. Parsi came. Like this, these are the religions that we are. Those who came to India from different parts of the country at different parts of time and from different races, after finishing their job, they didn't go back. Majority of them remained in India, settled in India. They did not settle in isolation. People who came to trading purpose did not confine to Calcutta alone. They spread all over India. People who came to Ganges for agriculture purpose, they also came to Kaveri Basin and Krishna Basin. People who came for the learning, they did not confine to Nalanda University in and around it. They spread to the entire India. It is not only they spread, they intermingled with each other. There is so much of intermingling today in this country, unimaginable, where nowhere in the world you will see. As I told you, in addition to these religions, the Anthropological Survey of India specifies in its study that there are 4,635 castes and subcastes in India. 4,635 castes and subcastes in India. 2011 census says there are more than 1,000 languages in this country. As a result of this intermingling, today if you search in the entire country, you will not find a single person you can say that he belonged to such and such a race. You will not find a single person you can say that he belonged to such and such a nation. So much of intermingling. Now I belong to Kolar district in Karnataka. My caste is different. Your caste is different. My language is different. Your language is different. My food habit is different. Your food habits are different. My opinions are different. Your opinions are different. My customs and traditions are different. Your customs are different. Yet, there is one similarity between me and all of you. Tell me what is that?
Humanity.
Nine. Just look at me. What is my color? What is my color?
Same color.
Is it black? No? Shall we come to one particular understanding. Light black? Okay? 99% who are sitting here and me are of the same color, same bald, same built up. I'm 71 years, little baldy. My brother, young friend, if you reach my age, you will be a full head shape. How this commonality has been arrived at? This is because of intermingling. We don't understand this. Without understanding this, you will not be able to understand what is nationalism in the country. People belonging to different religions, people belonging to different castes, languages, regions, they live together in this country. They build this country together. They fought in the freedom movement against the British imperialism. Friends, remember, it is not just the blood of Hindus that has flown in freedom struggle. The blood of Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, and every other religion has flown in the freedom struggle of India. During freedom struggle, many issues confronted the Indian society. The people of this country, they debated these questions. They emerged certain solutions, answers. These answers became the goals of freedom movement. And these goals of freedom movement were incorporated in the Indian Constitution. I don't want to go into the details of all those questions except 3 questions. One of the first questions that encountered by the people of India before independence was, after India became independent, shall we make Mahatma Gandhi a Samrat? Pandit Nehru a Chakravarti? Vallabhbhai Patel a Raja? People of this country debated this question. They gave an answer to it. What the answer was? We don't want emperors, Chakravartis. Feudal system is to be abolished. Political power is to be transferred to the hands of people. This is how the foundation for feeble democracy was laid during the freedom struggle, which finds a place under the Indian Constitution. The second question that was encountered by the people of this country, 80% of the India's population are Hindus. In remaining 20%, there are Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis, and tribals. A militant section of the Hindu majority raised a voice that after India became independent, we have to declare India as a Hindu Rashtra. This question was debated by the people of India. They gave an answer to that. What is the answer? We belong to different nationalities. We belong to different races. We belong to different language families. We came at different point of time to India. We lived together. We intermingled together. We fought together. We built the nation together. Now we don't want Hindu Rashtra. We don't want Islam Rashtra. We don't want Christ Rashtra nor Sikh Rashtra. We want a secular state. This is how the concept of secularism was imbibed into the Indian Constitution. The third question that came up for consideration is, after India, shall we build India on the basis of merit? Muscle power? Money power? This question was debated and discussed. They gave an answer. The goal of Indian freedom movement is to establish an equal society. If we want to establish an equal society, different sections of the society are required to participate in the nation building. But religion is coming in the way. Caste is coming in the way. Then how do you involve? We people of this country debated and they have given answer. By following the path of social justice, we can involve all sections of the society, all religions, all castes, and we can build the nation. That is how the philosophy of social justice came to be embedded in the Indian Constitution. There are other few questions, but I don't want to deal with that. This is how the people's democracy, secularism, social justice came to be incorporated in the Indian Constitution. Friends, this Constitution came into effect way back in the year 1950. In 1947, we got the independence. By accepting the world's biggest written constitution, we became republic in 1950. In our constitution, it is specifically stated. I don't want to deal in detail article wise. Fundamental rights guaranteed under Chapter 3 of the Indian Constitution is not just confined to one religion, not confined to one caste, not confined to one region. The fundamental rights guaranteed under the Indian Constitution in Chapter 3 are extended to all citizens in this country, irrespective of religion, caste, race, place of birth, language, gender. All are entitled under Article 14 for certain protections. All are equal under the eye of law. All are extended the equal protection under law. All are provided equal opportunity under the law. This is how the pluralism came to India and came to be protected. It is not just the fundamental rights, fundamental duties and constitutional remedies that we are enjoying today are not only to one or other caste, to the whole nation, for all citizens of the country. This is how the pluralism came to be protected in this country. Pluralism means people belonging to different religion, different castes, different languages, different opinions, different food habits, different traditions, different cultures and subcultures living together, creating an atmosphere for living together is the principal aim of our constitution. That is what is meant by pluralism. That is what is guaranteed under the Article 14. That is what is guaranteed under Article 19. That is what is guaranteed under Article 21. That is what is guaranteed under the entire Part 3 of the Indian Constitution. But unfortunately, we have not realized this. That is the reason why, even after 73 years, we are fighting each other. We are fighting in the name of religion. We are fighting in the name of caste. We are fighting in the name of language. We are fighting in the name of regions. Because we have not realized what exactly they think. It is not just all these things which are protected. It also protects the future changes that is going to take place. I give an example of my own. My father, my grandfather, great-grandfather, on the side of my father's side, we are a Shiva devotees. In our area, we observe weekly one day as fasting day by Shiva devotees. Do you know what is that day? Monday. My father got married a lady from Palamner in Chittoor district. She belonged to Venkateshwara devotee family. For Venkateshwara devotees, what is the weekly fasting day? Saturday. So in my house, in 1950s, Monday and Saturday became one. We were children. My mother, when came to my father's house, my grandmother was no more. My grandfather was no more. She was the only lady in the house. She is a self-rected woman. Her writ is to run in my family. Whatever she says, everybody has to obey. That's how she has some authoritarian this thing. Do you know what she did when we were children? Slowly, she shifted our Monday fasting day to Saturday. All my cousins in my village observe Monday as the fasting day. In my house, what is the fasting day? Saturday. This is one side. I completed my LLB degree in 1977. I got married a lady from my village in near Madanapalli in Chittoor district. Her mother tongue is Telugu. My mother tongue is Telugu. We started our family in Bengaluru because I was practicing. Even after 6 months, don't mistake there is no need to any woman to mistake me. Even after 6 months, I didn't understand what is my wife. Any experienced elder people can say, have you understood your wife within 6 months? I am honestly telling, even today, even to this day, I have not understood my wife. Monday came. My wife did not observe the fasting. I thought, maybe like my mother, she maybe belonged to Venkateshwara family. Then I waited till Saturday. No fasting day. The trend in Karnataka then was all women used to shift to Thursday of Mantralaya's rare devotees. I thought she may also be transferred to Thursday. I waited till Thursday. No fasting even on Thursday. Arey, Monday nahi, Saturday nahi, Thursday nahi. Ye kya hai? Kidhar se laya? Kidhar jungle se laya isko? After about 8, 10 months or 12 months, I realized there is a fasting day. By the time my wife has become settled and a little old, 1 year old, whenever she quarrels with me and make galata with me and do not prepare the food in the kitchen, that is the fasting day for me. This I told you because when my mother shifted the fasting day from Monday to Saturday, when my wife did not observe the fasting day at all, we did not quarrel. We did not hate each other. We did not file divorce petitions. We loved each other. We respected each other. We accommodated the feelings of each other. Today we are having children and grandchildren. This is tolerance in India. If this tolerance can happen in my house, why not in my district? Why not in my state? Why not in my country? Today, intolerance is rampant in the country. If you have beards, I hate you. If you eat mutton biryani, I hate you. If you have certain dress, I hate you. If you put your nama, I hate you. Everything is hate, 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 hate. But that is not the thing that is taught. That is protected. That is preserved under the Indian Constitution. But unfortunately, we fail to read our Constitution, understand the Constitution, imbibe the constitutional values, and practice the constitutional values in our day-to-day life. It is not just a fasting day in a week. I give another example. I am from Kolar district. My mother tongue is Telugu. My wife is Madanapalli in Chittoor district. Her mother tongue is Telugu. After marriage, we settled down at Bangalore. As a student of democratic movement, I toured the entire Karnataka. To reach the Kannada people, I learned delivering speeches in Kannada. Slowly I started writing books in Kannada. I have written 20 books in Kannada. I also started talking Kannada with my wife. Friends, I am honest in telling, today in my family, to my children, mother tongue is not Telugu, it is Kannada. If I say this, there will be a lot of clapping in Karnataka, but no clapping in Andhra. All that I want to say is that we change our languages, We change our fasting days, we change our dresses, we change our customs, we change our food habits, all these protected under the Indian Constitution. Without understanding this, we are resisting this transformation. Even in 21st century, we are talking of orthodoxy, which has spoiled and ruined us some hundreds and thousands of years. We have not realized. You can't stop this. History from hunting stage till today, man is only moving forward. Here and there may be some setbacks, but you can't give a full stop for change. Change is eternal. Change in every field is eternal. We will not stop at this stage. I don't know what is the future of my granddaughter. What is the future of my grandson? How do they live? Where do they live? What they eat? How they marry? No. You can't stop all these things. But still, people are advocating to practice certain things which are age-old and outdated. It is only a futile exercise. The friends from communal front and friends from fundamental forces may only succeed temporarily, but it is not possible to give a stop to these changes. This we have to understand. That is how secularism has come into our constitution. Unfortunately, we did not implement our constitution. We did not understand our constitution in its right spirit. I give only simple 3 examples. From 1950 till today, we are talking of democracy in this country. We are debating about democracy in this country. We are discussing about democracy in this country. Right from my school days till now, I am hearing about discussions about democracy. The entire debate and discussion in the country about democracy corners around 3 important things. 1, holding elections from time to time. Exercising vote by the men and women who are entitled to exercise vote. Exercising vote to a candidate of our own choice. Whoever gets majority, they form the government and give rule for 5 years. This is all what we debated in these 73 years about democracy. According to me, under the Indian Constitution, democracy means and includes political democracy, economic democracy, and social democracy. In these 73 years, we only debated about political democracy. We failed to debate about economic democracy and social democracy. We failed to link the political democracy to the economic democracy and to the social democracy. That is the reason why whenever election comes in India, emotional issues dominate, not the issues relating to our life. अरे मंदिर इश्यू आता है, मस्जिद इश्यू आता है, ए रिवर इश्यू आता है, कारगिल वार आता है, चीना भारत वार आता है, पाकिस्तान इंडिया वार आता है, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट नहीं आता है भाई. Farmer committing suicide is not debated at all. Industrial crisis is there, we are not debating. Day in and day out, people are dying. Atrocities on women, atrocities on Dalits is rampant. We are not debating these issues. That is the reason why we failed insofar as the democracy is concerned. We fail to understand in its real perspective. Therefore, a debate is to be discussed and generated where political democracy is to be discussed with economic democracy and social democracy. They are to be interlinked. That is the need of the hour. Whenever debate about secularism, including judiciary, we fail to understand what is secularism is. In the last 4 years, after writing this book, reading the constitution, I conducted a campaign in the state of Karnataka. I toured the entire state. I visited all the districts in Karnataka. I might have delivered about more than 700 lectures in these 4 years. More than 2.5 books written by me in Kannada are sold. Samvidhana Odu. But I was shocked to see. Whenever I posed a question to the students and teachers, when I asked them what is meant by secularism, equal treatment of all religions is secularism. No. This is not the correct definition of secularism under the Indian Constitution. Separation of religion from politics is secularism. State shall not have its own religion is secularism. State shall not discriminate among religions. The programs, the planning, policies, the law, the rules made by the state shall not be influenced by any religious prescriptions. Such a type of political system is called as secularism. But we fail to understand. Secularism is not anti-religion. Please remember this. Secularism is not anti-religion. But unfortunately, what is going on? Religious heads, Matadipatis, Swamijis are contesting elections, getting elected, becoming chief ministers, parliament members, central ministers and state ministers, and there is a big queue in every state in the election field by the Swamijis. This is not a healthy development. This is not secularism. I am not for a moment telling that all Swamijis are bad. There are noble Swamijis, good Swamijis, who are teaching morality to the society, who are sowing the seeds of morality and naitikate in the society. But mixing politics with religion is very dangerous. We fail to understand. Having said so, then what is dharma? What is religion? Every religion at its commencement had taken its birth to address the human issues, to wipe out the tears from human eyes, to resolve the problems of human beings. When Balita Samskriti was rampant in India, when yagas and yagnas were rampant in India, do you know what is meant by yaga and yagna? It is not just inciting a fire. During the course of conducting yaga and yagna, the king can take away whatever that is required, food grain, sheep, cows, goats, ghee, everything from farmers without paying compensation. To give bali, they can take animals, they can also take human beings. Against these yagas, yagnas and bali samskriti, Jainism has taken its birth. When men found that it is difficult to practice Jainism, Buddhism has come forward in a liberalized form of Jainism is Buddhism. In the same lines, we see the birth of Sikhism. This is how. Against slave system in Europe, the dissenting voice became Christianity. Against bloodshed, loot, robbery in Arabian countries, Prophet propagated Islam, telling that foolish people, you belong to one region, you belong to one language, you belong to one food habit, you belong to one dress habit. Why do you loot each other? Why do you kill each other? You can live peacefully without killing, without loot. That is how Islam came to birth. Throughout, therefore I say, all religions in the world have taken its birth to address the human problems and human issues. Therefore, it is not necessary that we should be anti-religious. Therefore, in Kannada it is called Damanakke Olagada Janara Dwaniye Dharma. The voice of oppressed is the religion. This is how religions are. Therefore, we need not be anti-religious. When religion comes, you leave it to him. It is his personal affair. My wife is a pure vegetarian. I am occasionally vegetarian. She is a devotee of a god. I don't pray, I don't devote. I am not a devotee. But we are living together. If this is possible in my house, why not in a country? Why not in a state? Why not in our society? Therefore, secularism is not anti-religion. Therefore, we need not be anti-religion. But the danger lies here. When religion is undemocratized, that leads to fundamentalism. What is meant by undemocratization of religion? It is difficult to define, but I will give 2 examples you will be able to understand. In Kashmir, more than 92% of Kashmirians are Muslims. In Kashmir, a Muslim lady will not wear burqa. But today, Islamic fundamentalists have penetrated into the Kashmir valley and forcing a woman in the college gates to wear burqa. Against the will of Kashmiri women, fundamentalists are forcing to wear burqa. This is undemocratization of religion. Commanding me to follow a thing against my will. Imposing something against me, against my will, my choice. That is undemocratization. I'll give another example. In Kerala, there is a community, Bora community. Some time back, the religious head of that Bora community issued a farman that all men of our community should wear a cap. A person like Parthasarthi, he said, I will not wear. This message was carried to the pontiff, that is religious head. He said, then you outcast him. Yes. Parthasarthi is outcasted. What do you do with his wife? His parents, his brothers, his sisters. Is it not dividing husband and wife, parent and children, brothers and sisters? This type of dividing the people, dividing the families, dividing the communities is undemocratization of religion. This is what is we have to oppose. Therefore, we need not oppose religion. We are required to oppose undemocratization of religion. Sometime back, I was an portfolio, you will call it as portfolio judge. Each district will have one high court judge as in charge. I went to North Karnataka when I was a portfolio judge there. I went to an official function. The advocates came and put a tilaka to me. They didn't even ask me. Against my will, they put tilaka. If I don't, then there will be a clash. This I say undemocratization. You have to do Pad Puja. If you don't do, you will be outcasted. You have to give Kanike. If you don't give, you will be outcasted. This is how religion is undemocratized. This is against the human society and civilization. This is what is required to be opposed today. If that is the religion, if this is the fundamentalism, and then what is communalism? Religion and politics mixes that produces the communalism. A king is expected to rule the country by addressing your problems, by solving your problems, by providing some remedy to you. For some reason or the other, the king failed in his duty. People suffers. People will not keep quiet. People revolt against such a type of king. They ask the king to get down. But the king who has seen the taste of power, pleasure, enjoyment, he refuses to vacate that seat. But he is unable to face the people. Therefore, he goes to a Swamiji and requests Swamiji, Swamiji, you have to save me. Keeping backside the king, Swamiji come in front of the people and tells, for all your problems, your karma, your papa, your punya, your narka, your swarga. It is not the king, it is the shapa of God. It is the curse on you. Here, religion mixes with politics. This cocktail of religion mixing with politics produces the communalism. This is what is happening today. Nation is suffering with many problems. Despite all achievements that we have made, still 21% are below poverty line. 20% are illiterates. Unprecedented unemployment in the last 50 years. Farmers are committing suicide. Industry is in crisis. Employed people have become unemployed. Social justice is becoming irrelevant. In such a situation, instead of solving these problems, they are diverting the attention of the masses in another way. That is the reason why during the course of elections, human problems are not being debated, only emotional issues. They are giving one after the other and are diverting the attention of the masses. 7-8 years back, I heard in the newspapers and I read in the newspapers, Bhagavad Gita is to be made national epic. The whole nation revolved around it and debated. After 6 months it went back. Then they came forward, Gar Wapsi. We revolved around it. Then we debated it. That went back. Then they came, Love Jihadi, beef eating, cow launching, Hazab, Halal, Hazan. Friends, if we don't resist these things, if we don't give agenda to them, there will be another issue like this, emotional issue, in another 15-20 days. Therefore, this is the type of thing that it is going on. Therefore, a time has come where we have to debate and discuss how to provide an agenda for the enemy, agenda for the communal forces, agenda for the fundamental forces. It is an unfortunate development in Karnataka coastal area. It is not just Hindu fundamentalism that is working. Islamic fundamentalism is also working. In one voice, whether it is Islamic fundamentalism or Hindu fundamentalism, whether it is Islamic communalism or Hindu communalism or Christian communalism, we are required to condemn and combat. That is the need of the hour. I am sorry, with pain I am telling you. Some time back, Muslim fundamentalists killed a Hindu youth in coastal district. Within 1 week, Hindu fundamentalists killed one Muslim youth. The persons who died are innocent youth. The persons who killed are also baptized by these fundamental forces. That is the reason why this Hindu fundamentalism and Islamic fundamentalism are two faces of the same coin. They are to be condemned in one voice. That is what is required. In this direction, it is necessary for us. To me, in a situation like this, without understanding these things, it is not possible to understand nationalism. Nationalism is simple. People belonging to different religions, different languages, different castes, different regions, different faiths, different opinions, different customs, different cultures, living together. Living together as brothers and sisters, living together as friends. Even to this day, friends, I am honestly saying 95% of Hindus love Muslims. 95% of Muslims love Hindus. They respect each other. They accommodate each other. They transact each other. Can I go as a Hindu from Hyderabad without eating Muslim biryani? क्या बोलता है साहब? Is it possible? This is India. But we have not realized it. Therefore, the need of the hour is that we are all required to follow the path of Constitution, whether Hindu, whether Muslim. It is not just debating in a hall like this, debating or discussing in a air-conditioned theater like this. No, this is necessary. In addition to that, we have to get into action. I give two examples which really made a very big impact on me. A couple of years ago, in a part of Bangalore city, communal riots took place. Muslim fundamentalists want to demolish a Hindu temple. Muslim young youth formed a human chain around the Hindu temple and protected from Islamic fundamentalists. Recently, in our adjacent district in Gulbarga, Hanuma Jayanti procession was taken. They planned to attack a masjid. Dalit youth formed a chain and protected a masjid from the Hanuma Jayanti processions. This is the type of action-oriented thing is necessary. In doing so, all that I request, we maybe belong to different parties, different ideologies, different castes, different religions. Let all of us follow the path of Constitution. That is the right path according to me. Let us retain our identity. Today, several organizations have come together in organizing this function. Let these organizations keep their own identities. But when the issue of nationality comes, when the issue of democracy comes, when the issue of farmers committing suicide comes, when the issue of communalism comes, let all of us come together. Let us come together to fight these communal forces and fundamental forces. Don't think that communalism and fundamentalism will only be for a particular period, only for a particular section. No. These forces are not only dividing the people, they are building permanent walls between the people. They are sowing poison among the minds of people. They are creating mistrust among them. If this type of continues, a civil society cannot run. Where there is communal disturbances, communal riots and communal killings, friends, remember, it will have a serious impact on economic growth and social growth. Nobody will come forward to invest in India when communal riots are going on here. If investment is not there, then there will be no development, no growth, no employment opportunities. We will be pushed back economically. When we push it back economically, we will also be simultaneously pushed socially. When unemployment increases, please remember, it will not just remain as unemployment. It also leads to increase in crime rate, leads to increase in theft, leads to increase in corruption, leads to increase in prostitution, leads to increase in drug addiction, leads to increase in committing suicides. Therefore, communalism cannot be simply be ignored. This is the time where our future lies. Friends, in these 75 years of independent India, we made certain good achievement. Today, we are in a stage of losing what we have achieved. Therefore, only if you retain what we have achieved, then you can expect some improvement and development. Therefore, this issue of communalism and fundamentalism has a close link with economic and social issues. Therefore, a time has come. This is not the time where we are required to keep silent. I don't know how to translate in Telugu, but Viray garu, you please, I will tell in Kannada, and you just try to follow it very clear. This is not the time to keep silent. In 1945, during Second World War, whoever questions the Hitler, criticizes, whoever expressed dissenting view to the Hitler, the Nazi army used to search, and they used to finish them. They went off the people and finished them. A school teacher, then he wrote a poem. I translated from English to Kannada, but I don't remember exactly what the English version is, but I will say in Kannada so that he can. Avaru bandaru. They came. Who? Nazis. ಅವರು ಯಹೂದಿಗಳನ್ನು ಹುಡುಕಿಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದರು. They came in search of Yehudis. ನಾನು ಬಾಯಿ ಬಿಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. I did not open up because I was not a Yehudi. Then they came. They came in search of Catholics. I did not open up because I was not a Catholic. Then they came in search of communists. I did not open up because I was not a communist. Then they came in search of me only. By the time there was nobody to open their mouths. These days are not far away from you and me. Anytime we are going to face this situation. Therefore, this is the time where we are all required to raise our voice. Raise our voice in tune with our constitutional path. Raise our voice in the basic features of the Indian Constitution. Let us keep identity. Let us join for united struggle. This is the time for united struggle. This united struggle is not just election struggle, my friends. It is not just election struggle. An ideological struggle. I used to say in Kannada, ಯುದ್ಧ ಮೊದಲು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಗುವುದು ಅಂತರಂಗದಲ್ಲಿ, ನಂತರ ರಣರಂಗದಲ್ಲಿ. యుద్ధం మొదలు ప్రారంభ అయ్యేది నా హృదయంలో, తర్వాత రణరంగంలో. This internal struggle has to commence. This internal struggle for saving the Constitution, for protecting the Constitution, for practicing the constitutional basic features and in practice. This we have to convey this message to the common man of this country. We have to create awareness among the common people, more so among the youth. And there is a responsibility as elders who are sitting here that we have to spare some time. We have to spare some energy. We have to spare some money for creating this movement among the young men and women of this country. With this appeal, I thank every one of you, and particularly my friend Vidya Sagar garu and Viray garu and Partha Sarthi garu for inviting and providing me this opportunity and to share few thoughts with you. Thank you very much. I think not necessary. You want translation?
Okay.
I think you have followed.
You have sufficiently understood.
Please.
Please, I think
Hello.
you are free to answer,
Hello, check.
put questions,
Hello, check.
but be precise.
Hello. Hello, check. Hello. respected chair, Mr. Justice Das Garu. I got two questions. One is at the end, you have been telling about the development that took place during the Second World War in Germany. Is the present situation in India, is the present political power similar to that of Germany during Hitler period? You can enlighten to certain extent. Number one, the recent judgments of the Supreme Court and various high courts, particularly on temples, etc., masjid, are also creating a hatred among the different communities. The judgment is going on one side in favor of the majority Hinduism, etc. The third one is renaming of the cities. What happened during 1500 years back, 1000 years back, now again renaming Hindu name. Recently, Shambhaji Nagar is part of Hyderabad state once upon a time, Aurangabad. Now it is renamed. Gulbarga, Kaliburg, part of Hyderabad state earlier. You have been witnessing. So on the three issues, you may enlighten us.
Every rule will have an exception. One person, only one question. Second thing is, no sub-question. Third thing is, no narration, brief question. In possible simplest terms. Insofar as your first question is concerned, I told what is the condition in the society. I also told what is the condition in Second World War in Germany. What is the answer given by a poet. Now it is for you to draw the conclusions and not for me to tell. That is my answer to the first question. The second question is, I respectfully agree with you that certain judgment of the Supreme Court failed us, disappointed us. People of the country, we had immense faith, are now starting eroding that faith because of these type of judgments. But I have not lost hope, my hope. This situation was there in Indian judiciary even in 1975 when internal emergency was imposed. But the judiciary in the later days rised again. I am of the confident that we are moving in a this thing, what we call, I call it in Kannada as Kandaka. Kandaka means a dark path, but at a distance I am seeing a light. I have not lost my hope. I think the judiciary will overcome this situation and will protect the constitution and protect the nation is my parliament. Insofar as your third question is concerned, yes, these type of things which were of 1,000 years old, hundreds of years old, will crop up suddenly like this, because there is a saying, when you cannot employ the youth for construction, somebody will employ the youth for destruction. When unable to answer our unemployment, agriculture crisis, industrial crisis, our food, what is the price of gas today? What is the price of petrol today? What is the price of food grains today? How a common man has to lead? Our ruling government say, no answer to it. Then what do they do? They want to continue for divertive attention. Therefore, there is a Roman saying, when you cannot provide bread to the people, show them the circuses. This circus is going on, my friend, in this country. We have to overcome that. Yes?
Sir, Shubhodayam. Excuse me for two questions, brief questions. One,
మీ పేరు కూడా చెప్పండి.
నేను నరహరి రిటైర్డ్ ప్రిన్సిపాల్ ఓరియంటల్ కాలేజ్.
తెలుగులోనే అడగండి.
తెలుగులో ఉంటారా? సరే, మీరు మీ ప్రసంగంలో ఏమొచ్చిందంటే ఇతర దేశాల నుంచి రకరకాల వాళ్ళు వచ్చారు కదా, వారు వచ్చే కంటే ముందు ఇక్కడంతా హిందువులు ఉన్నారు అని అన్నారు. నేను దాంతో అంగీకరించాను. ట్రైబల్స్ ఉన్నారు కదా, చెంచులు, రకరకాల వాళ్ళు ఉన్నారు. వాళ్ళ హిందూ అసలు వాళ్ళ ప్రకృతి తప్ప మతం కాదు వాళ్ళది హిందూ. అంటే మీరు చెప్పిన దాంట్లో ఇతర దేశాల వాళ్ళు వచ్చేసరికి ఇక్కడ హిందువులు గణనీయంగా ఉన్నారు ఇన్ ఎ కన్సిడరబుల్ నంబర్ మేబీ, బట్ నాట్ ఆల్ ఆర్ హిందూస్. నెంబర్ 1. నెంబర్ 2, మొన్న హనుమత్ జయంతి సందర్భంగా, ఊరేగింపు సందర్భంగా దళిత యువకులు మసీదును కాపాడారు. మీరు చెప్పింది ఫ్యాక్ట్. బాధాకరం ఏమిటంటే దళితులు ముందుకొచ్చారు, మిగిలిన వాళ్ళు రాలేదు. హిందువులలో ఉండే దళితేతరులు ముందుకు రాలేదు. అది బాధాకరమైన విషయం. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Again there is a deviation. I am repeatedly telling one question per head. These two elderly men crossed that. One asked 3 questions, another asked. Be that. Number 1 is, when in my discourse I said, in India earlier there were Hindus. When I say Hindus, I did not mean that there were no tribals. There were also tribals. These majority tribals, they say, we are not Hindus, we are not Muslims, we are not Sikhs, we are not Christians. Therefore, they maintain their own independent identity throughout the country. I agree with that. If that type of message has gone, I correct it. That is one. Second thing is, I also agree, but we must be proud that a section of Hindu who are Dalits have protected it. Let that be a inspiring fountain for all other Hindus to protect and come forward such. Yes.
My question will give another question.
Let them finish.
Sir, thank you very much for the incredible speech, sir. It was very inspiring. I have a small question regarding constitution and the way minorities are dealt with in this country, especially with regard to the government using bulldozers to punish dissenters, and how the Supreme Court should have dealt with it is my
Yes.
question.
This is a very important question. Yesterday also I answered this question in your city in another program, and this is a question recently everywhere people ask me in throughout Karnataka. Freedom of speech and expression is a fundamental right guaranteed under the Indian Constitution. The High Courts and the Supreme Court, interpreting this provision, Article 19(1)(a), they said freedom of speech and expression includes freedom to express my own view, freedom to express dissenting view, freedom to criticize you, freedom to question you. It goes on saying freedom to keep silent is also freedom of speech and expression. As a part of it, participation in a democratic movement is also a part of freedom of speech, freedom of association. Now, on the ground that he participated in a democratic movement, bulldozing his house is illegal, unconstitutional, anti-human civilization. I condemn, and everyone has to condemn it. 2. In a situation like this, we don't have comprehensive victim compensation laws. I demand the Parliament of India to frame immediately a law in this direction to provide compensation to the victims. If courts, the legislature fail to enact a law immediately, the hands of courts are not tied. I request the Supreme Court to frame guidelines in a situation like this, control such things, and also to provide guidelines, provide compensation to the victims in these areas is concerned. That's what I request the Supreme Court of India to come forward and to do it. Yes. Please, please. Udayadev, mic. Take.
Good afternoon, honorable respected judges and dignitaries. I have one question, sir. Because against the constitution, the economy is in few people's hands. So when constitution is written, economy should not be in few people's hand. So the rich is becoming more rich, poor is becoming more poor. So there is no financial equality in India. So it is a big threat for our country, like in China or other countries, there is a financial equality. So I humbly request to enlighten this, because massive unemployment, massive things are happening. So country, it is a danger. Maybe it is going to like Sri Lanka or any other country. So I just humbly request to highlight this issue, sir, because economy is in few people's hand. They are leading the country. It is a very threat and dangerous of our sovereignty. Thank you, sir.
I totally agree with you. This is not a question. This is an expansion of my lecture. Therefore, you can take it as a part of my lecture. There is no dispute over that. All that I said, we debated political democracy. We failed to debate economic democracy. This is where exactly the things comes. After India became independent, we have achieved some progress. By using science and technology, the people of this country, by their hard work and labor and sweat, produced enormous wealth. But unfortunately, 60% of this wealth in India is in the hands of 1% of our population. 20% of our wealth is in the hands of 9% of our population. Remaining 90% of the population are left with only 20%. This is how an unequal society we have built. There are several provisions under the Indian Constitution specifying that wealth should not be concentrated in few hands. But unfortunately, our governments have not brought proper legislation for equitable. I am not saying that you distribute, acquire the properties of Adanis and Ambanis and per head you did. No, I am not suggesting that. There must be equitable distribution of wealth. What is that equitable distribution of? Recently I participated in one agitation in Karnataka. 52,000 workers, power karmikas and safai karmichari workers are working in Karnataka on contract basis. They are getting 8 to 12,000 rupees salary per month. How to lead their life? Therefore, the agitation was to regularize their services and to pay equal pay for equal work. If one step is taken in this direction throughout the country, the living conditions of the working class will improve. Farmers are committing suicide. The main reason is there is no support price. Farmers are producing, but there is no support price. Therefore, they are in debt trap. They have no other way. Therefore, they are committing suicide. Almost 15 years back, Swaminathan, a great scientist, gave a report to the government of India suggesting to overcome the agriculture crisis. One of them is to give support price. Minimum support price. Till today, the government has not opened that report. You open that report. You accept that report. Implement that report. Give the support price to the Kisans. What support price says? If the cost of 1 kg of tomato is 5 rupees, give them 7.5 rupees. If 1 kg of paddy costs about 2,000 rupees, give them 3,000. This is all the Swaminathan committee report says. Add 50% of the cost of production and give them the support price. But if one step is taken, the 52% population who are Kisans in this country will be far better. This is how we have to, there is equitable distribution of wealth is the need of the hour. I totally agree with you. You can take it as a part of my lecture. I also subscribe to that view. Yes.
ముందు వారు అడుగుతారు.
Please. Sir, you please ask. He will wait.
Sir, recently the Chief Justice of India during his foreign tours has said the shift from socialist inspired welfare state to market driven economy, it is important to reassess the constitution. How this can be done and whose responsibility it is. The government will not take the responsibility because they never think of reassessing the constitution. They only want that the constitution should be amended as you said, because of various reasons which the government is following.
See, Chief Justice of India is your man. I have already experienced with you. When I said my family from Telugu mother tongue to change it to Kannada, nobody clapped. That shows you are angry about me. If I speak anything about Chief Justice, who is your man, again you will become angry. This Chief Justice has no business to make a policy statement outside the country in a foreign platform on the policies of the nation. It is for the legislative and executive, as you rightly put it, it is their domain. It is they who have to decide. And thirdly, your Chief Justice is a tiger on paper and zero in his judgments. He has not delivered a single landmark judgment after he became Chief Justice of India. Day in and day out he speaks about nation, freedom of speech, everything. But tell me one judgment that he has written. This is the hypocrisy that the nation is facing. I don't approve of such statement. I agree with you.
I have one important question.
Please.
My question is there any constitutional basis to provide livelihood security? This is an important point because I am in the farmers movement, and then there are many in the country who are on the margin, and then their livelihood security is being constricted with every decision of the government recently in the economic realm. So is there any constitutional basis to prevent or reverse it?
Yes. Friends, remember, no article in the Indian Constitution specifies what are its basic features. But for the first time, the Supreme Court of India in 1973, in Keshavananda Bharati's case, propounded the theory called the basic features of Indian Constitution. They listed basic features. Thereafter, several judgments came on the same line. They went on adding to the list of basic features. Now, I don't want to go into all those details. The courts have declared building welfare state is one of the basic features of Indian Constitution. The Supreme Court further said these basic features are untouchable and unamendable. No matter which government comes, what majority they enjoy, they are not empowered to amend these basic features. Welfare state is one such basic feature which is contained, which is provided under the Indian Constitution. What is meant by welfare state? More and more responsibility to the government to provide the basic needs of common man. What are the basic needs of common man? My food, my health, my education, my transport. These are the basic features of India, common man's need. Therefore, there is an obligation on the part of the government to provide these basic needs to the common man. And as you said, in that we can bring about the security of common, food security of common. Undoubtedly, Constitution provides for it, but our governments have to do the job. Yes? Please provide mic there.
Hello, Your Honorable Justice. The present issue is lifting the freebies, whether it is affect the society.
Victims of?
Lifting the freebies.
See, most of the manifestos, see, democracy means elections. Elections means manifestos. Manifestos means providing freebies. Correct? See, providing freebies shall be a temporary relief. Political parties shall think of permanent solutions. Permanent solution cannot be achieved in a day or two, in a year or two. It may take some time. Till such time, what do? Shall people suffer with hunger? Therefore, till we achieve the food security, we have to provide some foods, freebies for the common man and the poor. Only to this limited extent, freebies are to be provided, not as a permanent solution. In the name of freebies, you can't blackmail the people. Somebody says we will give TVs. Other party says we will give color TVs. When somebody says color TVs, we will give mixies, grinders. Somebody says we will give mopeds. Somebody says we will give free mopeds. Somebody says we will also provide petrol of 200 liters per sub. What is nonsense is this? This has to come to an end. Freebies as a temporary relief till we achieve a permanent solution. To that extent, it is permissible. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Our Indian Constitution is said to be the best in the world. Even other leaders of other countries also very highly speak of Indian Constitution. But nowadays we are seeing so much of defection from one political party to other political party. It is perversion of Indian democracy. It is disgusting to see people changing their loyalties every day. No, I want to know whether our constitution cannot provide a solution to this, to make a full stop to this defection. The anti-defection law is so weak in India, the constitution has not been able to provide a solution to this. What is your thought on this, sir?
The basic mindset of our people is how to violate the law, not to follow the law. See, between 1950s and 1980s, if a political leader contests from a political party, till his term is over, he was not changing his political party. At the time of election, he is to change his political party. This was one. Then we see, for the sake of power, for the sake of money, for the sake of opportunities, political leaders changing the parties. People raised their voice against this. Do you know how they changed the political parties? Remember a scene in our marriages. Normally in Karnataka, first day evening is the reception, second day morning is the marriage. Correct? I don't know in your place how it takes place. Or sometimes morning muhurtam, evening reception. Correct? Ladies will come to the marriage on the previous day. They came in simple dress. When the reception comes, they will come with a decorated silk saree. Next day for muhurtam, they will come with another different silk saree. In the evening they come with a different dress. Just as a woman changes her dress, our political leaders started changing their political parties. It was at that juncture people raised their voice. In response to that voice, anti-defection law came. It worked for some time. Now, the version is different. What is the version? The version is, they don't defect, they tender resignation. Impose by-elections on you, spend money, use religion, use caste, again get re-elect. It happened in Karnataka. 18 MLAs resigned. A government which is having the majority became minority. A minority political party became the majority. Out of 18, 15 people have won the by-elections. This is the mockery of democracy. Therefore, I have suggested in my writings as well as in my speeches and articles that simple amendments to Representation of People's Act and Anti-Defection Act will not solve the problem. There is need to rewrite the entire election law to regulate these elections, to free the elections from the caste influence, money influence, muscle influence and religion influence. We have to severely punish not only these defectors, the forces behind the defectors. A MLA who is fit for nothing travels in a aeroplane, single passenger from Bangalore to Bombay. Who pays money for it? If his entire properties are sold, he will not be able to bear half of the cost of it. He stays in 5-star hotel for 30 days. Who pays for this? Therefore, the culprits is not only the persons who defected, there are also forces who are creating defects. They are also to be punished. Therefore, the entire election law is to be rewritten, is my answer to you.
Honorable Nagamohan garu, adoption of constitution in Indian history is definitely a progressive step. But in its implementation, how do we find what are the forces that are coming in the way to stop and reverse it and go in a regressive way?
Very important question according to me. After India became independent in 1947, by adopting the world's biggest written constitution, India became republic in 1950. In these 73 years of implementation of our Indian constitution, we have achieved something. I do not subscribe to the argument that nothing is achieved. I will tell you 4 or 5 points for your consideration. Before 1947, the entire land mass from Kashmir to Kanyakumari was never brought under one political rule. It was Gupta's India, Maurya's India, Mughals India and British India. Even in 1947, when we became independent, apart from British government, there were 600 independent princes who were ruling different parts of the country. We fixed a boundary. We abolished feudalism. We gave one constitution, one national flag, one national anthem, and one national symbol. We brought this entire country under one political rule. If real India is created, according to me, it is only after the Indian Constitution came into implementation. This is no small achievement. Having abolished feudalism, we established democratic institutions. We established parliament. We established parliament. which is empowered to enact laws for the nation. We established in Vidhan Sabhas to enact laws for the state. These are the legislative bodies. Central government, state government, district administration, taluka administration, grama panchayat, executive institutions, Supreme Court, High Court, District Court, Taluka Court, judicial institutions. In these democratic institutions, 140 crore population, either directly or indirectly participating every day, is no small achievement. When India became independent, there was only 15% literacy rate. Today we are really 79% literacy rate. Then 70% were below poverty line. Today we brought down to 21%. Then our annual agricultural production was 50 million tons per annum. Today we have carried to 295 million tons per annum. Then we were importing food. Today we are exporting food. By providing water, roads, housing, health, education, employment, we improved the living conditions of common man. Women, Dalits, minorities were treated as secondary-rate citizens in this country. After India became republic, we have seen a Dalit president, a Dalit prime minister, chief ministers, central ministers, ambassadors, governors, legislators, parliamentarians. India has seen a woman president. Today we are seeing a tribal woman president, a woman prime minister, Supreme Court judges, IAS, IPS officers. Tell me an area where minorities, women and Dalits have not entered in this country. If that has been possible, that is because of the reason the Constitution provided opportunity. Yesterday also I was telling in one meeting, who is the President of India? A tribal woman. Whether she is capable of handling that post or not is a secondary question. But India today has risen to a level accepting a tribal woman to be the President of India. Who is the Prime Minister of India? A person born in the most backward community. We call it as Teli community. I born in Kolar district in a middle class agriculture family. In caste system, agriculturist son become what? An agriculturist. Haircutter son, haircutter. A cobbler son, cobbler. A washerman son, washerman. But as a middle class farmer son, I became a law graduate from Bangalore University. I practiced for 25 years as a lawyer in Bangalore Shahar. I became judge of Karnataka High Court for 10 years. After retirement, I practiced as designated senior counsel in Supreme Court for 5 years. All that happened because of the opportunities provided to me by my Constitution. Do you say that this is no achievement? This is no implementation of Constitution? Information technology, space technology, atomic energy, service sector, agriculture production, Indian defense. In several areas, India is one among the top 10 in the world. That is because of the Indian Constitution. Despite all these good achievements, my friend, I am conscious and aware of the fact nation is facing both problems and as well as the challenge. The reason for this is not our Constitution. The fault lies within us in not properly understanding the Constitution and not properly implementing the Constitution. Therefore, if we read the Constitution, understand the Constitution and implement the Constitution, I think we can solve our problems, we can combat the challenges. The only path that is available to us, the constitutional path, constitutional path. Yes, sir.
Sir.
Again, you are third man to violate the law.
Sir, Mr. Justice, I have a question.
Yes.
Recently, Supreme Court gave two kind of landmark judgments. One is Teesta judgment and the second one is the Himamshu Kumar judgment. In both the cases, the petitioner became an accused at the end of the day when the court ends that day. How do you look at this contrast? Occasionally, the Supreme Court judges forgets their own cornerstone judgments.
all that I say, I agree with you insofar as those two judgments are. Judiciary required a correction. How do you correct them? Subjecting their judgments to a democratic criticism. Every one of us, no doubt, are bound by the judgments of the Supreme Court. We have to follow. But our Constitution provides a right to every citizen to criticize the judgments and not the judge. While criticizing the judgment, you have to make a framework. Your criticism must be healthy criticism. It must be a constructive criticism. A criticism capable of correcting the mistakes. A criticism elevating the judiciary from this state to a higher level. With this framework, please criticize, question, debate the judgment. Through that, through this democratic public opinion, we have to bring a change in the judiciary. That is the only way that is left before the nation. Yes?
Sir, in Karnataka state, students is wearing the hijab issue. What about consequences?
In Karnataka, I spoke widely on this issue. Papers also reported widely my point of. Behind hijab issue in Karnataka, Hindu fundamentalist forces are there. Islamic fundamentalist forces are also there. I told during that time, I visited Mangalore when the agitation was going on. I said, keep these two fundamental forces outside the college campuses. Within 24 hours, you will find solution for Azam. As long as we don't take this crucial step, coercive step in keeping away these fundamentalists, be that it is Islamic or Christian or Hindu fundamentalists, they are to be kept out of the colleges' campuses. That is the only way. That is the only answer. The question is whether Constitution is to be changed. No. Constitution is required to be amended. Article 368 of the Constitution provides for amending the Constitution. As Vidyasagar puts it, we have already amended 105 times. I demand some more amendments. When you ask me what amendments if I am given the power, first thing that I will do is make right to food a fundamental right. Right to education a fundamental right. Right to health a fundamental right. Right to house shelter is a fundamental right. Right to job a fundamental right. This is the need of the hour. Through this, we have to improve the Constitution, strengthen the Constitution. There is no necessary to replace the Constitution. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, please. Mic there, boy.
నమస్కారం అండి, నేను రిటైర్డ్ హెడ్ మాస్టర్ని. ఇప్పుడు మీరు చెప్పినంత చూసిన తర్వాత ఈ కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ని ప్రజల్లోకి తీసుకెళ్ళడంలో భాగంగా అసలు స్కూల్స్లో 8వ తరగతి నుంచి పిల్లలకి దీంట్లో ఇంపార్టెంట్ పాయింట్లు చెప్పడానికి ఒక అవకాశాన్ని కల్పించుకుని ఆ స్థాయిలో వాళ్ళని ఈ హక్కులు వాళ్ళకున్నటువంటి చెప్పగలిగేటట్టయితే అది ఉపయోగపడుతుంది అనేటువంటిది నా అభిప్రాయం. అయితే మన రాజ్యాంగానికి భిన్నంగా 2020లో జాతీయ విద్యా విధానం అనేటువంటిది రూపొందించారు. ఆ రూపొందించిన దాన్ని పార్లమెంటు అంగీకారం తీసుకోలేదు. గతంలో ఉన్నటువంటి ఫస్ట్ అండ్ సెకండ్ నేషనల్ పాలసీ ఎడ్యుకేషన్లో 2 కూడా పార్లమెంట్లో అప్రూవ్ అయ్యాయి. ఇక్కడ మంత్రివర్గం హడావుడిగా చేసేసి దాన్ని ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేసింది. ముఖ్యంగా మీ కర్ణాటక రాష్ట్రంలో దానికి కావాల్సిన పేపర్స్ అన్ని తయారు చేస్తున్నారు. ఆ పేపర్లో వస్తున్నాయి. వాటిల్లో పిల్లలకి అవసరమైనటువంటి పౌష్టికాహారాన్ని ఇవ్వడానికి కూడా ఫీల్ లేకుండా ఏ రకమైన ఆహారం ఇవ్వాలనేటువంటి చెప్తూ వెజిటేరియన్కే చేయాలి అంటే ఇప్పుడు చెప్తున్న ఈ భాషలో చెప్పాలంటే వాడి దేశంలో వస్తున్న భాషలో మనువాదం అని ఏదైతే ఉందో, బ్రాహ్మణికల్ ఏదైతే ఉందో దాన్నే ఇంపోజ్ చేస్తూ పేపర్స్ తయారు చేస్తున్నారు. దీన్ని సుప్రీంకోర్టులో దీన్ని ఛాలెంజ్ చేయొచ్చా? అలా చేయకపోయేటట్టయితే రాబోయే పుస్తకాల్లో ఇందాక మీరు చెప్పిన ఇన్ని ఇతర దేశాల నుంచి వచ్చిన వాళ్ళతో కలిసిన ఒక అద్భుతమైనటువంటి భారతదేశాన్ని కేవలం హిందూ భారతదేశంగానే మిగతా పుస్తకాల నుంచి అన్ని చాప్టర్లు తీసేసే ప్రయత్నం కూడా జరుగుతున్నాయి. ఈ సమయంలో ఒక సిటిజన్గా బాధ్యత కలిగిన మనంగా ఏం చేయొచ్చు? స్కూల్స్ పిల్లలకి కావాల్సినటువంటి దాని వరకు ఈ మన రాజ్యాంగంలో ఏమి చెప్తే బాగుంటుంది? అది ఏమన్నా మీరు ఆలోచించి చెప్పగలిగితే దాన్ని చేయొచ్చండి.
ఇది చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ క్వశ్చన్. టు మీ ఇట్ ఈస్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ది రీజన్ ఈస్ how to enlighten the young boys and girls in this country, that is particularly the school children, about the Constitution. It is necessary, it is possible, some debate is going on. Many number of the countries in the world are teaching their Constitution at the elementary level. Say for example, ఇంట్లో అమ్మ కొడితే ఏం చేయాలా అని బిడ్డకి చెప్పిస్తూ ఉన్నారు. ఇట్లా 100 నెంబర్కి ఫోన్ చేయాలా అని. మాల్ దగ్గరికి పోయి బిడ్డని కారులో వేసేసి లాక్ చేసుకొని మాల్కి పోవచ్చిన తల్లి తండ్రి. ఇన్ సచ్ ఏ సిచ్యుయేషన్ వాట్ ది చైల్డ్ హ్యాస్ టు డూ? Make a rumbling sound and call the security and lodge a complaint against the parents. In this way, it is possible and it is necessary to educate the children about their constitutional rights, about the children's rights, about the child care. Through that, the parents' responsibility. That is necessary, I agree with you. Second thing is, yes, some of the communal forces are penetrating into the field of education and prescribing certain things in the curriculum is very dangerous. Therefore I said, what is meant by secularism? To me, secularism means one element is the programs, the planning, the policies, the rules legislated by any government shall not be influenced by any religious prescriptions. By serving an egg in the meal plate of a child, if it is good in the interest of child's health, no religion should come in the way to prevent it. If some dal is provided, a fruit is provided, if it is good in the interest of child, yes, that is welcome. Because of certain religious practices and beliefs, if a child don't want to take the food, don't force that child. Allow the child to have their own choice. I am not saying that 100 child will have 100 choices. No, give them limited 2-3 items of vegetarian and 1 item of non-vegetarian. With this we have to move. All that we have to see is the influence of religious scriptures in making the policy of the state should be cut down. When that is achieved, everything will be okay. Yes, it is possible. It is open under the Constitution because courts do not, the Constitution do not subscribe to such type of narrow looking. Either the framing of the curriculum is concerned or the framing of the food policy is concerned. We can question. Yes.
Sir, please enlighten us with regard to linking of the voter card with the Aadhaar, and does it affect the privacy of the citizen of India?
Well, it is not necessary to debate. Already much has been debated, but all that I say, not necessary. Not necessary to link.
Thank you. Thank you.
There should be some end in interfering with our private rights. That is going on like anything. Even what is the relationship between me and my, if the state government can interfere, central government, where to live, my friend? No, there must be some limit for this. Please.
Good afternoon.
You please invite me on occasion. Hello, sir. You please invite me at your cost. Prepare a list of questions. I will come to Hyderabad. I will answer all of your questions.
My lad, one question is, my doubt is that a political leader, a political party, political leader is getting pension after serving 5 years. But whereas a government servant serving of 30 years getting pension, but a political leader again electing again is getting pension. Is it justified? Is justified, I am asking. How many times they get pension? Political leaders. A political leader getting a corporator, again MLA, again MP. So many times they get pension. But whereas a government servant get pension after serving 30 years only one time pension. How far it is justified?
No. Your question is not correct. Political leaders are getting pension depending on number of years that they serve. If he is only one term, one level of pension. If he has got 2 terms, another level of pension. If he has got 3rd term, another level of pension. If he has got 4th time, another level of pension. See, when I became judge and served for 10 years, I was getting very less for 10 years. Then we questioned in the Supreme Court. Wait. Then we questioned this in the Supreme Court. In one case, Supreme Court said, in case of a straightly from the Bar Association, a lawyer was appointed as the Supreme Court judge. He had hardly 5-6 years of service. He had a roaring practice. He was earning tons and tons of money. By making him his judge, he was paid only a few thousands. On his retirement, when they calculated, he had hardly served 6 years. For 6 years, what is the pension that he will get? Then they said, 10 years is to be added. Thereby it became 16 years. Because of that, High Court judge's pension also increased. When I retired in 2014, my friend, I was getting very few chips, not even to sufficient to pay the monthly rent. Because of that judgment, 10 years are added, some more pension is came, now I am comfortably living. Yes.
Whether state quality institute, whether the chief minister, prime minister, inaugurating official buildings, other day day before study and 4th of this month, our chief minister fixed the time మధ్యాహ్నం 1 గంటల 10 నిమిషాలు టైం ఫిక్స్ చేసి inaugurated command and control system, advanced technology, information system, whole department, and Vastu Puja. If it allowed as per constitution, would take on
Actually,
it is nothing but encouraging religion.
it is true. See, Constitution do not prohibit this. One. But in a secular state, is it proper to practice such things? I say no. Everything cannot be regulated by law. We need an amount of morality. We need an amount of public decency in public life. As long as that is not there. Say for example, I will give one example how the nation is to be. In 1962, K.C. Kariyappa, a air marshal of Indian Army,
Field Marshal.
air marshal,
Air Force.
field marshal is K.M. Kariyappa. This is senior. I will come to that. You please bear with me for a minute. K.C. Kariyappa, air marshal, and few other soldiers with him were captured by Pakistani army. Then the president of Pakistan was Ayub Khan. Before India and Pakistan was divided, senior Kariyappa and this Ayub Khan were working in British Indian Army. With that affection, Ayub Khan writes a letter to senior Kariyappa, that is Field Marshal K.M. Kariyappa, saying, your son is in our custody. We are treating your son better than all other prisoners, captives. If you desire, we will release your son and send to India. Do you know what Kariyappa, senior Kariyappa wrote? Thank you for your affectionate letter. There is no need to treat my son differently. Treat in par with all other captive soldiers. Release my son when you release all other Indian soldiers, because all captives in your custody are my children. That is the type of morality that our politician requires in public life. Everything cannot be controlled and guided by law. An amount of morality is required to be guided by law.
That's Stalin did it.
Yes.
Only Stalin could do it.
Yes.
It is a bit more.
That is what is required. Yes. I think we have enough debate and discourse.
Thank you, sir, for responding to too many queries. We have two or three events to be performed before we conclude the meeting. The book which was released, మానవతపై దాడి, దాని ప్రైజ్ 100 రూపీస్ ఉంది, కానీ ఇప్పుడు కొనుక్కున్న వాళ్ళకి 50 రూపాయలకే బయట ఇస్తున్నారు. అది తీసుకోవాల్సిందిగా ఎవరైతే. సెకండ్, తెలంగాణ ఆల్ పెన్షనర్స్ అండ్ రిటైర్డ్ పర్సన్స్ అసోసియేషన్, they have requested to announce that they will be garlanding the Honorable Justice Nagamohan Field Station. I request them to come over.
What is the date of this reading constitution? Reading constitution.
బయట బుక్ అక్కడ
లేదా ట్రాన్స్లేట్ అయ్యాక చూద్దాం సార్.
ఆయన
ఇంగ్లీష్
వచ్చాడు ఎక్కేశారు. రామచంద్రారెడ్డి గారు కొద్దిగా స్పీడప్ చేస్తే.
సరే
ఓట్ ఆఫ్ థ్యాంక్స్ బై పార్సారథి గారు.
ఫ్రెండ్స్, ఒక 2 hours కంటిన్యూస్గా నాగమోహన్ దాస్ గారి స్పీచ్ కానీ క్వశ్చన్ ఆన్సర్స్ కానీ మనందరినీ ఎన్లైటన్ చేయటమే కాదు, ఈ ఎన్లైటన్ అయిన విషయాలని
జనంలోకి తీసుకుపోవటం కూడా అవసరం అనేది నేను భావిస్తున్నాను, మీరందరూ కూడా అదే భావిస్తున్నారు. అందుకని యాక్చువల్గా ఇవాళ అనేక పెళ్ళిళ్ళు ఇవన్నీ ఉన్నప్పటికీ ఈ కార్యక్రమానికి మీరందరూ వచ్చారు. వారికి ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తూ, నాగమోహన్ దాస్ గారు హైదరాబాద్ వస్తున్నారని తెలిసిన వెంటనే వారిని కాంటాక్ట్ చేస్తే, మీరు ఒక రోజు ఇక్కడ ఉండి అడ్వకేట్స్ని ఇంక అదర్ పీపుల్ని కూడా మీరు అడ్రస్ చేస్తే బాగుంటుందని చెప్పి మన అన్ని ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్ తరఫున ఐలు, పిఎఫ్ఆర్ఐ, పెన్షనర్స్ అసోసియేషను, అది సుందరయ్య విజ్ఞాన కేంద్రము, ఎస్ఆర్ శంకర్ స్టడీ సర్కిల్, వీళ్ళందరి తరఫున మనం ఇన్వైట్ చేయటం అనేది జరిగింది. కానీ వారు నిన్న ఒక 2-3 అవర్స్ ఈవినింగ్ అక్కడ ఇన్సూరెన్స్ ఎంప్లాయీస్కి ఒక లెక్చర్ ఇచ్చారు. అది మళ్ళీ ఇవాళ కూడా అదే 2 అవర్స్ ఇక్కడ కూడా ఇవ్వటం అనేది జరిగింది. బెంగళూరు నుంచి ఇక్కడ రావటం జరిగింది. వారికి ప్రత్యేక ధన్యవాదాలు మీ తరఫున, అందరి తరఫున, ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్ తరఫున తెలియజేస్తున్నాం. అంతేకాదు వారిని ఒక విషయం కూడా, ఒక కోరిక కూడా కోరటం జరిగింది. ఇక్కడ కాలేజెస్లో, లా కాలేజెస్లో, డిగ్రీ కాలేజెస్లో మేము ఒక 1 వీక్ ప్లాన్ చేసి అన్ని కాలేజెస్లో కూడా పెడదామనేది ఆలోచన ఉంది. అంటే ఈ అడ్మిషన్స్ ఇవన్నీ అయిపోయినాక ఒక 1 వీక్ వచ్చి హైదరాబాద్లో ఉండి మీరు లెక్చర్స్ ఇవ్వాలంటే, నేను ఆల్రెడీ ఆగస్ట్ అంతా ప్రీ ఆక్యుపైడ్ ఉన్నాను కాబట్టి నా కన్వీనియంట్ డేట్స్ చూసుకొని నేను వచ్చి ఇక్కడ ఒక 1 వీక్ ఉండి నేను అడ్రస్ చేస్తాను అని చెప్పి చెప్పడం జరిగింది. దానికి మరొకసారి ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తూ, ఆ అవకాశాన్ని మనం ఉపయోగించుకొని విద్యార్థి లోకాల్లోకి తీసుకుపోవడానికి ప్రయత్నం చేసి వాళ్ళ ద్వారా ఈ కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ని ప్రచారం చేయడానికి ఉపయోగపడుతుందని భావిస్తూ మీకు మరొకసారి ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తూ, అదేవిధంగా సరే ప్రిసైడ్ చేసిన విద్యాసాగర్ గారికి, వినయ్ కుమార్ గారికి హాల్ కూడా ఫ్రీగా ఇచ్చి టీ బిస్కెట్స్ ఇచ్చినందుకు వారికి కూడా ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తూ ఈ సమావేశం ఇంతటితో ముగిసిందని చెప్తూ ముగిసింది.